We have a big armada, we have a big fleet heading in that direction. We'll be there pretty soon. So we'll see how that works out.
The U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, released fresh images of its fleet operating in the Arabian Sea, just a few nautical miles away from the Iranian shores, just hours after Washington and Tehran concluded indirect nuclear talks in Oman. CENTCOM shows an armada in a clear warning to Iran. The images show Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group. It has the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, 2 military supply ships, and 2 Coast Guard cutters sailing together, and above them flying 5 warplanes, 2 F-35 fighter jets, 2 FA-18E Super Hornets, and an AWACS early warning system aircraft. The exact date and location of the photos released by CENTCOM cannot be independently verified, but the timing is crucial. CENTCOM shared photos in a post on X with a message stating, "Peace through strength." Trump, too, ramped up his maximum pressure campaign against Iran. He confirmed to reporters that an armada is currently en route to Iran, along with a chilling signal. Trump hinted at a Nicolas Maduro-style capture of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Had very, very good talks today, having to do with Russia, Ukraine. Something could be happening. We likewise had very good talks on Iran. Iran looks like it wants to make a deal very badly. We have to see what that deal is. But I think Iran looks like they want to make a deal very badly, as they should. Last time they decided maybe not to do it, but I think they probably feel differently. We'll see what the deal is. It'll be different than last time. And we have a big armada, we have a big fleet heading in that direction. We'll be there pretty soon. So we'll see how that works out.
Like it's been reached yet. How long are you willing to wait?
It can't be reached. Well, you have to get in position. We have plenty of time. If you remember Venezuela, we waited around for a while. And we're in no rush. We have, very good talks going with Iran. We have very good talks going with Russia and Ukraine. We're doing a lot of good talking. And I think we had the results today were with Iran. It was a meeting. We're going to meet again early next week. And they want to make a deal. Iran, as they should want to make a deal. They know the consequences. If they don't make a deal, the consequences are very steep. So we'll see what happens. But they had a very good meeting with a very high representative of Iran, and we'll see how it all turns out.
Looking for ripe groups.
See that? By the way, I'd love to see that. If we could do that, I'd love to see it.
Mr. President, is a deal that is acceptable that only covers with Iran? Is there a deal that only covers nuclear that would be acceptable to you? Because they just want to have nuclear. They don't want to have anything else.
That would be acceptable. But the one thing, and right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal. But they weren't willing to do that. And now they are willing to do it. So they're willing to do much more than they would have a year and a half ago, or even a year ago when don't forget, we've only been doing this for exactly 1 year. And we started with them a few months after the beginning of this term. This term has been amazing. But the results could surprise people. If they would have offered this deal originally when we first started, it would have been accepted immediately. We'll see what happens.
The warning came shortly after the nuclear talks in Oman that came in the backdrop of U.S. military movements in the region and warnings of possible military action. But Iran is standing its ground, at least for now. Responding to U.S. threats, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi reiterated Tehran's missile program is non-negotiable, and it remains open to any serious diplomatic process that takes into account its interests and legitimate concerns. Earlier satellite images revealed how Iran is rebuilding its missile facilities, damaged by the US and Israel during a 12-day war in June last year. According to an analysis by the New York Times, Iran has moved swiftly to restore ballistic missile facilities, while repairs at nuclear sites struck by Israeli and US forces remain limited and uneven. The findings are based on satellite imagery of 24 locations hit during the strikes. At least half of them show active repair work, but the pace is not uniform, and that imbalance may point directly to Tehran's strategic priorities. Missile sites came first. Within days of the June attacks, crews appeared at multiple missile production and testing facilities. Imagery shows damaged structures cleared, buildings repaired, and operations gradually resuming. Intelligence assessments cited by the Times suggest Iran has already rebuilt much of its ballistic missile program, restoring a key pillar of its military deterrence. Amid Iran's refusal of backing down and retaliation threat, the U.S. has strengthened air and missile defenses across the Middle East. More THAAD air defense systems have been deployed at U.S. bases in the region, and U.S. Navy, too, has deployed multiple guided missile destroyers in the region. Additional air power have been called in from Middle Eastern bases and Europe.
Even as diplomacy begins, Iran is choosing to speak through missiles. Underground, armed, and unmistakably deliberate, Iran is sending a powerful signal as talks with the United States get underway, not across a negotiating table, but from deep underground missile facilities. Days after Iran state TV pulled a broadcast about Iran Army chief's visit to an underground missile base, Iranian media has confirmed the deployment of Khorramshahr 4 missile. As Tehran enters talks with the United States, Iran's Revolutionary Guards have unveiled what they call a new underground missile city, revealing the deployment of the Khorramshahr 4 ballistic missile. The display was not coincidental. Iranian media say the missile was showcased just hours before indirect Iran-US negotiations began in Muscat, a carefully timed signal as diplomacy resumed. Majid Musawi, commander of the Guards Aerospace Force, attended the unveiling, where the Khorramshahr 4 was shown inside fortified underground facilities. By upgrading its ballistic missiles in all technical dimensions, Iran has been able to strengthen its deterrence power. Following the 12-day war, we have changed our military doctrine from defensive to offensive by adopting the policy of asymmetric warfare and boosting readiness for a crushing response to the enemies. State television describes the missile as one of Iran's most advanced long-range weapons, with a reported range of about 2,000 kilometers and the capacity to carry a 1,500-kilogram warhead. According to Press TV, the missile has already been deployed at an underground base operated by the Guards Aerospace Force. Iranian state media say the move reflects a shift in military doctrine, from purely defensive to openly offensive, aimed at sending a message to what Tehran calls regional and extra-regional adversaries. In a separate interview, Guards political deputy Yedollah Jawani made that message explicit. Iran, he said, would not abandon its military strength while pursuing diplomacy. We are not seeking war, but if the other side makes a mistake, we will respond decisively. The missile display comes as the Trump administration has moved additional military assets into the Middle East in recent weeks, raising the stakes across an already volatile region. As talks continue behind closed doors, Iran's message from underground is unmistakable. Diplomacy may be on the table, but so is firepower.